Have you ever felt like your mind never stops? No matter how hard you try, it's always worrying about tomorrow, about what might go wrong, about everything that hasn't even happened yet. This constant anxiety steals your sleep, your peace, and makes you live as if you always owe something to life. But here's a truth that nobody tells you. This isn't living. Jesus himself warned us about this trap when he said, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will take care of itself." Matthew 6, verse 34. But let's be honest. How can we trust when everything feels uncertain? How can we rest when the bills keep piling up, when the fear of the future is real, when life has already shown us that things don't always go as planned? If you've ever asked yourself these questions, stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share could change the way you face life. And what if I told you that the biggest mistake you're making is trying to fight alone? God never asked you to carry this burden, never wanted you to waste your strength trying to control what's beyond your reach. Believe me, when you understand that, something changes inside you. Today, you'll discover why worry has been destroying your faith and how God can teach you to live in a way that truly brings you peace. Anxiety for tomorrow steals today's peace. How many times does your mind get lost in thoughts about the future, creating scenarios that might never even happen? God teaches us to trust in him, for he cares about every detail of our lives. Jesus said, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will take care of itself." Matthew 6, verse 34. In other words, our strength should be in the now, what we can live and build today. If you've realized that worrying solves nothing, why not try something new? Trust, rest, surrender. This isn't about living irresponsibly. It's about learning to balance planning with faith. A farmer plants his seed without losing sleep over whether the rain will come. He does his part and trusts in God's timing. The problem is that many want absolute control over life, as if they could predict everything. But consider this. If even the birds aren't storing food yet are fed by the Creator, Matthew 6, verse 26, why doubt that God will take care of you too? Instead of wasting energy on, what if this goes wrong? Or what if I fail? Why not replace that anxiety with action and faith? If you're alive today, it means you've already overcome every hard day in your past. Look back and see how many times God has delivered you, how many answers he has provided. The present is where your strength lies. Faith grows when we stop feeding fear and start nurturing trust. And when that trust takes root, something powerful happens. Life becomes lighter, and blessings begin to flow in unexpectedly. Trust in God does not mean an absence of challenges, but rather the certainty that we are not alone in facing them. When we understand that the future is in his hands, we begin to view situations with fresh eyes. The people of Israel, while fleeing Egypt, saw the sea before them and Pharaoh's army behind. Fear took hold, and they began to doubt. But God, through Moses, said, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and see the deliverance that the Lord will bring you today." Exodus 14, verse 13. And then the impossible happened. The sea parted. If God could part an entire sea to save his people, he can also open paths where today you only see barriers. But here's the secret. Trusting doesn't mean standing still. God parted the sea, but the Israelites had to walk. The same goes for life. Faith is not passive, but active. If you believe that God is in control, you must act accordingly. Want a new job? Prepare your resume. Want a restored marriage? Start by changing your attitude. Want to overcome depression? Seek help, read biblical messages that strengthen your soul, and fill your mind with hopeful thoughts. Faith without works is dead, James 2, verse 17. So take courageous steps. The truth is, many want to see miracles, but they are not willing to walk toward them. They want answers, yet they refuse to take the first step. Imagine if Peter hadn't had the courage to step out of the boat when Jesus called him to walk on water. Matthew 14, verse 29. He experienced the supernatural because he dared to trust. The same applies to your life. If God is calling you to trust more and fear less, isn't it time to take a step of faith? Walking by faith does not mean we will never have doubts or difficult moments. Even the greatest men in the Bible faced internal crises. The prophet Elijah, even after witnessing fire descend from heaven in response to his prayer, fell into despair and wished for death. 1 Kings 19, verse 4. Depression and fear tried to overcome him, but God found him in the desert and renewed his strength. The Lord did not rebuke him for being tired. Instead, he provided rest and nourishment. This teaches us that God understands our weaknesses and cares for us patiently. No matter how hard the moment may be, he never abandons us. The problem is that we often focus solely on our difficulties and forget who stands by our side. Peter began to sink when he took his eyes off Jesus and focused on the raging wind. Matthew 14, verse 30. The same happens with us. The more we fixate on our problems, the larger they appear. But when we choose to trust, something changes within us. Faith does not eliminate the storms, but it enables us to cross them without despair. When you feel fear for the future, remember, the God who sustained you yesterday is the same who will care for you tomorrow. So, what will be your choice? Will you continue to carry the weight of worry, or will you surrender your anxiety to God? Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7 teaches us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." This peace is available to you right now. Breathe deeply. Place your fear in the hands of the Lord and walk knowing that He is already shaping your future. Now tell me, for how much longer will you allow worry to steal your peace? How many sleepless nights? How many days spent on autopilot? How many moments lost because your mind was trapped in thoughts of what could go wrong? God doesn't want that for you. He wants you to trust, to rest, and to live in the now, knowing that tomorrow is in His hands. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act. Psalm 37, verse 5. But that surrender must be genuine. It's not enough to say you trust and then, the very next minute, drown in anxiety again. If this message has touched your heart, if you feel that God has spoken to you today, I want you to leave in the comments, "I choose to trust." Write it as an act of faith, as a declaration that you no longer want to live enslaved by worry. And if you know someone who needs to hear these words, share this video. You might be the instrument God uses to bring peace to someone's heart. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Here, you will always find messages that will strengthen your faith and help you see life through God's eyes. Activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything, because the journey of faith is lighter when we walk together.